Draymond, he wasn't just talking about his free agency out on the golf course. He was also talking about it on Podcast P Show with Paul George. Take a listen.
I'm like in touch with them like a couple times a week right now, just kind of letting them know my mindset, what I'm thinking. I don't want it to come down to that if I'm not offered the offer that I think I should get, or I'm offered better somewhere else and I like that situation more at this point in time in my life, I don't want it to come down to like it's just some abrupt thing and like we haven't talked in weeks and now I'm hitting you up just to tell you I'm going. So I've been like updating them too, like every step of the way over the last couple of weeks about just what I'm hearing, what some of the possibilities may be, just to keep them in the loop. That's our relationship. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes it special. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like I feel indebted to them for them to know where I'm at, where my mind's at.
Transparency is always good. Draymond saying that he's communicating with his teammates, letting them know because it's going to get out there anyway. As we say hello to Hall of Famer Marc Spears back in the building with us. Marc, you are as dialed in on the Warriors as anyone around the league. What is the expectation surrounding Draymond Green and free agency here?
Well, after his last game, I talked to him, and he said, you know, I've been here 11 years. Mm-hmm. You don't just change that. I'd love to be back. And he also has called Steph and Klay his brothers. He also said it was a business, and he wants a long-term deal. I expect the Warriors to give it to him. Okay.
Expect Draymond Green to be back with the Golden State Warriors after declining his $27.6 million player option.
No, I like what he said in that, but I think people need to understand, like you said, he calls them his brother. They are brothers at the end of the day. So when it's like, oh, we're in conversation 3-4 times a week, yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot if you're talking about, like, hey, teammates. Like, who are you communicating with? Because Steph and Klay also know that the success of their team hinges on what Draymond does. If Draymond leaves, they'll still be a good team, but they won't be a championship contender, as Steve Kerr said a while ago. So I think he's doing what he's supposed to. He's got to spread the leverage, saying, if I get more money in a better situation that I like, this is a business. So he's saying that to tell Golden State, don't just hit me with this offer of I want to be here, I've been here, so you're going to lowball me. He is letting them know that if there is a better offer in a good situation, I will leave. So just come correct. Come correct with a player that's won a defensive championship, that's won a gold medal, that's won 4 championships. Come correct with this individual because he extends your championship window.
But what's your definition of coming correct? Because I know he opted out of the $27.6 million, and I know a lot of people, and maybe he should shoot for the moon and fall amongst the stars, whether that's in the 30 range or 35 range. But the Warriors can't come to him with 18, 20 million. But I feel like if they meet somewhere in the middle, then they'll get this done expeditiously. So I just feel like when it comes down to Draymond, what else he's supposed to do? Not be in contact with somebody that...
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying they built a dynasty together. People talk to you once a week and you won 1 championship with them. I don't know how they...
It's more than once a week.
No, once a week.
We got to touch Jay.
Go ahead, Zach.
Go ahead, Zach. I didn't win any championships, and people still call me every now and then.
There you go. When I called you yesterday.
I was on the phone. I was working.
Look,
you don't make a trade like acquiring Chris Paul at 38 years old if you're going to let Draymond Green walk. It doesn't make any sense. There were teams that had sign and trade stuff ready to go at Draymond Green when the starting gun went off. The noise on that has kind of quieted. People expect Draymond to go back to the Warriors because the window is Steph Curry. They're not a championship contender if Draymond Green walks. And I believe Perk is right. It's not going to be 18 and 20 million, whatever it is. It's going to be close enough that whatever else is out there, he's coming back. That's what I would expect.
Yes, the championship window, and that's what you're paying for. When you talk about don't come with 18, 20, come correct. Come correct means what are you willing to pay to keep your championship window open?
Right.
So if you tell me it's 18 million, then you're not coming correct. If you're telling me we want to keep our championship window open, then here's your 30. Here's your 32 over 3, maybe a fourth, and that year is partially guaranteed, as you see with like Chris Paul or something. They can do it and give him his number, but he is their championship window.
When we last left the Golden State Warriors, they were vowing to stay together.
We're just going to compete until the wheels fall off.
I believe that we have greatness in our future still.
We're not done yet. It was lost this year. We'll be back next year.
They hadn't won a championship, but still believed that they could, if they could only stay together. On draft day, the Warriors made a radical change to their roster by trading young guard Jordan Poole for former arch rival Chris Paul. On the surface, it felt like a shocking move. Poole had once been seen as a key to the Warriors' future, a young guard who could carry the team when Stephen Curry was out or Klay Thompson was off.
Pool party! It's a pool party!
Paul is 38 with a checkered injury history of late, despite his Hall of Fame credentials. But a deeper look at this trade yields a different take altogether. This move actually helps the Warriors' core stay together.
Paul trying to shake the big man, does so, lets it fly, and hits Chris Paul, the future Hall of Famer delivering in the clutch.
Yes, Paul makes them older, shorter, slower, but he also makes them wiser and fiscally responsible. And that's everything under the new collective bargaining agreement, which was designed to keep teams like the Warriors from staying together for a long dynastic run. Keeping Poole this season and beyond would almost assuredly have meant Green or Thompson had to go. Trading him for Paul, whose $30 million salary is unguaranteed for 2024, effectively doubles down on the core group, giving them a chance to stay together and contend for titles as long as they can.
Back here with the voice of that essay, Ramona Shelburne. Ramona, what more can you tell us about the Warriors' plans as they enter free agency?
Well, I mean, look, they want to keep that core together. I think we all were sitting there in the press room at Crypto.com when they lost that last game.
Yep.
And you heard to a man that they want to come back, run it back, and build around that core. And adding Chris Paul, even though it sounds counterintuitive, it actually helps them stay together because he's not a long-term commitment in terms of his salary like Jordan Poole was. Now, keeping Draymond Green is the first order of business. And I don't know, I was watching the match. I was watching those guys play golf. Draymond Green, why is Draymond there? Is Steph and Klay playing? Draymond's in Vegas with them?
Even the commentary.
Even the
beer chugging.
He sounds like a guy who wants to be back. I know that they want him back. The question is just, what is the number? There are other teams that are obviously interested in his services and will want to pursue him. The Memphis Grizzlies, Detroit Pistons, keep Ryan the Kings. But he sounds like a guy who wants to be back. They just have to get to the right number in the right number of years.
Well, and it feels like, especially with the Kings bringing back Harrison Barnes, that avenue dried up a little bit. But, Mark, when you look past Draymond Green, who you said earlier on the show, it would be a little bit surprising to see him in any other jersey next season beyond Golden State. But once you get past Draymond, which I know is a huge domino for this team, what else should we be looking at with the Warriors?
Well, the names ain't going to be as sexy as Draymond Green. It's going to drop a little bit.
Kendrick Perkins?
That ain't sexy.
Perk is making more now than he would. Hey, Perk, you'd probably be making more now than you would as a minimum player with the Warriors, right? Because that's what they're looking for.
Yeah. Klay Thompson is eligible for an extension. And he's making $43 million this year. That's an expiring contract. There's going to be teams that call about him because he's an expiring contract. But what do they do with the Klay Thompson as an extension candidate here? Do they extend him? Do they let him play out his contract? That's going to be something.
He don't want to go nowhere.
No.
And I think the Golden State Warriors, if you don't pay attention to history, you're destined to repeat it. If you look at the Jordan Bulls, they have not been to the finals since Jordan and that crew left. A dynasty group that was together, probably cut it short 1 or 2 years, in my opinion, but that was done. So when you start looking at even Shaq and Kobe, these guys at the end of their career look back and was like, well, if we could have worked it out a couple, we probably would have won 1 or 2 more championships. So you want to ride this out. You want to let it roll. And I love everything that they're doing because they're saying we have a special group. We have a once-in-a-lifetime group. It's not about the money, but we believe that these guys can still do it. So Draymond is the key. You said that, he was the first domino, our main. Yeah. He is the domino.
Yep.
If without Draymond, without that thing, and all of a sudden, I wouldn't say over, but you got it'll take a year and a half to retool your team in a manner to be elite.
And you're always on the clock with Steph. I think this is the time for Steph Curry is now, even though he says he's in his prime and he still feels like it could go on for a whole lot longer, Perk.
Y'all kill me. Y'all kill me with this Warrior stuff, man. Listen, the dynasty is over, all right?
Oh.
Yes, I've been saying that.
Let's scoot over here.
Don't go on that side. Stay on that side.
Don't go too shy.
Stay on that side. I've said this time and time again. We keep talking about an aging Chris Paul. When are they going to start to build for the future? When are we going to see?
They tried that.
It didn't work.
When? No, they didn't.
They
No, they
did.
didn't. Hold on, time out.
Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga.
No, they did not get a fair. They did not get a fair shot, especially James Wiseman, to be able to go through.
Bro.
To be able to go through his bumps. So you telling me 10 games at about 18 to 20 minutes is a legit fast shot for a top 3 pick? No, it's not. Like,
it's hard
as a top 3 pick, as a rookie, and you were a young player on a championship team. No, wait. Let me finish now for a second, big fella. I went to the finals my first and second year. You played in the finals as a young player. A young player either knows how to get it done or he doesn't.
Let me say, Moody's going to play next year.
What I'm saying.
He got it. He was the one young guy.
O'Brien,
what happened with Kuminga?
that young.
Did Kuminga play this postseason?
Remember when y'all see a
Did Kuminga play this postseason?
No.
You don't think Steve Kerr knows the difference between a player that can contribute in the manner in which they need?
Man, listen, man. What I'm trying to explain to you is when are you going to build for the future?
When
those guys are when Klay and Draymond and
when they're all done.
He was a second-round pick.
Well, I think
he was a second-round pick. We're talking about 3 guys in James Wiseman, now that he's gone, that was drafted in the lottery. These wasn't second-round picks or late first-round picks. These guys were drafted in the lottery. When are they going to build for the future?
He's right. He's right. He's right. No, because this is why he's right. Does anybody else remember after the Jordan Bulls, after that was all done? Do you remember their next couple of picks? It was Elton Brand, Tyson Chandler, Eddie Curry. All
got traded.
Yeah, I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. You can have legitimate high-level guys that doesn't guarantee. Right now, you have a guaranteed chance with 3 players that won a championship. That's what I'm saying. So it's like even after the Jordan Bulls broke apart, they drafted Elton Brand. He won Rookie of the Year. Then they drafted Tyson Chandler. 15-year career, 18-year career. Eddie Curry. So I'm saying you can have talent and you can start building, but a window for a championship is next to impossible. It's once in a lifetime. So don't tell me about Kuminga. Don't tell me about Wiseman.
Darko Milicic.
Yeah, whatever.
If we're going to talk about championship windows, we need to get to the Eastern Conference. And we're going to take a break, give Richard a chance to add one more button.
There's only one button that matters. It's
dive
as long as this
Chris
is here,
Middleton and Brooke Lopez, because they could hit free agency and just...
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.